my baby, my right to decide. My body, my baby, my right to decide. My body, my baby, my right to decide. As you know, my body, my baby, my right to decide. Are you listening? My body, my baby, my right to decide.
I feel a bit like an imposter because I'm not a Member of Parliament. I am the Liberal candidate for Norwood, and I have actually spoken at your previous rally, which was held at Parliament House. So yeah, I can't really come with any federal Liberal government policy announcement. I'm certainly not in that position whatsoever. I'm just the lowly candidate for the great inner eastern electorate of Norwood. We'll know what happens there in 4 weeks this Saturday. I just wanted to tell you briefly, perhaps share my personal story. I've got 2 children, Charlie who's 12 and Georgie who's 10. They were both delivered by midwives. In fact, they're probably both here today, although I haven't spotted them in the crowd just yet. And they were both delivered in the birthing centre at the Women's and Children's Hospital. Their mother is actually a GP. She's a doctor. And I suppose it's sort of surprising that a doctor would actually choose it. But we did a lot of work, spoke to a lot of people. We had some friends who were midwives, and we looked at all of the options, and that was the option which really appealed to both of us. And we had absolutely fantastic births. We love the birthing centre, we love the midwife delivery. And we feel very positive and very grateful that our option was one that we could actually pursue here in Adelaide. We also tried some other things that people told us they were a little bit crazy about. We actually tried hypnotherapy pain relief, which people told us was crazy. Look, it wasn't actually that successful, but again, it was our birth, or the birth of our child or children, and we wanted to have it the way that we wanted, and we were very grateful that we could. So I don't, as I said, I don't really have any policy announcement. Obviously from the Liberals, I'm not at that sort of level within the organisation. No doubt though that the Liberal Party is the party, I think, that grants individuals maximum choice. I certainly don't support a cookie cutter approach to birthing in South Australia where government or bureaucracy tells us this is the way that you will have your child. So I'm fully supportive of maximum choice. I wish you all the best for your rally today and continuing to send your message to politicians. Politicians which at the last federal election said that they were very sort of sympathetic to the plight of people that want to have midwife deliveries. I don't think that the government has lived up to its expectations in this area, and I think it's great that you're taking them to task, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Stephen. I'll grab that off you.
Hi, I'm Reese. I'll keep this brief. I have 6 children. This is number 6, Jonah, born at home in Water in October. My 5th child was born at home in Water the year before. 4 years earlier than that, I had a child born at home through the Northern Women's Midwifery Project, which unfortunately couldn't fit me in for the last 2 births at home in Water. I am 42 years old. I am considered too old. I have thyroid disease. I am considered high risk. I had diabetes in 2 of my pregnancies, also considering me high risk. I was refused by my GP any bloods to be taken in my pregnancy, nor would she write me a referral for an ultrasound saying that it was not her responsibility. That comes from the AMA and nowhere else. I needed to go to the Women's and Children's. They told me, you have chosen an independent midwife, we cannot provide those services either. So there is no collaboration in this state at this time as far as I'm concerned. I was unable to obtain, without a lot of bullying, and as you can tell by my voice, I'm probably with 6 kids quite good at that, to get that scan. I wanted a home birth, but I wanted one safely, and I wanted to know my placenta was in the right place. I wanted to know my baby was going to be born alive because there wasn't a congenital defect I needed to know about. My body, my baby, my way. Now my independent midwife, next baby that I have, if I decide to have a 7th, and I'm seriously considering it, will not be able to birth me at home because I'm high risk. I'll probably be 44 years of age and having my 7th child. My 15-year-old daughter, therefore, if we do not change the laws, will not have a child, and neither will my 18-month-old daughter down there. So I have to speak out, whether I have more children or not, and I commend you all for coming today. please let's continue to prove that we are not the lunatic fringe, but that we are capable women who know our own minds, who can do research and find out what is appropriate when we are birthing our children. I won't say that every home birth is appropriate for every woman, but every woman deserves the choice to be able to birth with her choice of midwife at home or in hospital. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Reese. Beautiful, beautiful. I just want to read something to you from Kylie Booth, who's the current coordinator of CARES. A lot of us feel that it is the women who have had a previous C-section that are going to be hurt the most by this. And she couldn't be here today. She's a GP. She's just gone back to work. This is her VBAC story. She says, apologies for not being... Really? Sorry. Oh. Apologies for not being present today. I returned to work as a GP after nearly 5 years absent to help women make informed choices regarding their pregnancy care provider. I am a supporter of a woman's choice to decide on the safest birth for her and her unborn child. For some it is a surgical birth, for others a birth with hospital intervention. For others it's birthing at home. As long as the risks and benefits are clearly explained and all the options given, it should be a woman who makes that choice, not a politician. Yay. 5 years ago, having private health insurance and being medically trained, I believed choosing an obstetrician and birthing in a private hospital with a neonatal intensive care unit nearby was my safest choice. I had no idea of the type of antenatal care I would receive, and once I started on the cascade of intervention for being overdue, she's got quotation, there was no stopping it. My son was born healthy by emergency, but not really in brackets, caesarean section for no real medical reason. I was told to have an elective caesarean next time round as my pelvis was too small to birth a baby. It's amazing what can come out in these things. Crikey. I found a CARES SA, a caesarean support group, about 6 months later, which provides information to women, as a lot of you here know, regarding their options for future births, and very quickly learnt that for my circumstance, having a VBAC, a vaginal birth after caesarean, just in case anyone doesn't know what that is, was not only possible, it was a safer option for me, in view to hoping to have more children and recovering from a birth with a toddler to care for. Re-energised and keen to find a care provider, I was shocked that I was unable to access the Southern Midwifery Care Group, as I was considered too high risk and I lived in the wrong zone to access the Women's and Children's Midwifery Group practice, which is supportive of VBAC. Private obstetricians said they would support the option, but looking at the statistic of a 7% success rate, I knew that wasn't a real option. I sought support and hired an independent midwife who believed in my ability to birth a child vaginally. I was provided antenatal care beyond comparison to what I received in the private system. 2-hour visits at my home, discussing all related issues to birth, physically and emotionally. I was open to the idea of home birth, but only if everything was going to plan and progressing. Now this is a girl who's come from a highly medicalised background and she really shifted. 14 days late, and there's some more brackets here, and I know I would have been forced to have a caesarean with any other provider. I went into labour. My baby was this time ready to be born. After 12 hours at home with an incredible midwife support, I decided to transfer to hospital. My daughter was born vaginally with no intervention about 10 hours later. Whew. Early the next morning, I walked out of hospital carrying my very healthy daughter, and my midwife visited me at home the next day. I was not fully psychologically prepared for home birth, but for me, labouring at home was the most natural thing on earth. It felt so right. It was right for me because it was my choice. I hope common sense will prevail and that the right for choosing her care provider and her place of birth is not taken from my daughter. I didn't end up with a home birth, but I strongly support a woman's right to choose one. Thank you, Kylie Booth, current coordinator of CARES SA. I'd love to hear from any other birthing women, consumers, to come up. I did have a little bit of a story about, you want to come up? No? You got your hand up? Anyone? Yeah?